Quick, graph y equals -1/2 times the quantity of x minus 1 cubed plus 2 by hand 2 different ways. This is part of the Family of Functions series. You will need graph paper, or you can download this PDF and print it. Press pause as needed anytime during this video. First, we need to decide what the parent function is and its shape. So this is the cubic function, and its shape is this curve right here, so keep that in mind while we're doing this graph. Identify the parameters. Those are values in the expression that affect the graph. There are 3 different parameters in this particular equation. And how do they affect the graph? The -1 is inside the parentheses and it affects the x values, shifting all points to the right 1 unit. The +2 shifts all points up 2, which affects the y values. And the -1/2 multiplies all y values by -1/2. So what should we consider first? Well, we're suggesting you plot the point of inflection first. This is the point of inflection normally on the cubic graph, and it's defined to be where the curve changes from concave down, like a frown, to concave up, like a smile, where it changes concavity. It's called a point of inflection. Normally it's at the origin, but we have some things to consider here. For example, all the points are shifted to the right 1, so the new point of inflection will be at 1. And the other one, the y values are multiplied by -1/2 times 0 doesn't change it, but adding 2, shifting up 2 will. So at 1, 2 is our new point of inflection for this curve. From this point, we're going to do the cubic dance, but we do have to consider that multiplying by the -1/2 on the y values. So instead of right 1, up 1, which we normally would do on the cubic dance, it's going to be right 1, down 1/2, because -1/2 times +1 is -1/2. Instead of right 2, up 8, it's going to be right 2, down 4. -1/2 times +8 is -4. Instead of left 1, down 1, it will be left 1, up 1/2. -1/2 times a -1 is a +1/2 going up. And instead of left 2, down 8, left 2, up 4. -1/2 times -8, +4. Connect the points to look like a cubic looking graph. The point of inflection again is at the point 1, 2. Here it's concave up, smiling here, concave down, frowning here, and this is the point where it changes concavity. Compare it to the parent function, and you can see that it's flipped in the other direction because of that negative sign and shifted up as well. Using a table, a second way, here's our normal cubic table of values. According to the parameters, the -1 inside the parentheses affects the x values. It shifts points to the right 1 unit, which means we have to add 1 to shift it to the right, to get it to shift to the right, to each x value. So we're going to take that 2 plus 1 and make it 3. The 1 plus 1 make it 2. In fact, go ahead and finish those 3 values there. Press pause and then resume when you're ready. So showing the rest of the x values. There they are. The other 2 parameters affect the y values. And using the order of operations, we do the multiply by -1/2 first, and then we add 2. So starting with the 8 times -1/2 is -4, plus 2 is -2. We show that again right here. Press pause as needed anytime. So we plot 3, -2. Go ahead and finish the other 4 y values, plot them, and finish the graph. Press pause and resume when you're ready. So 1 times -1/2 is -1/2 plus 2, which is like 4 halves. Leaves us a +3 halves. So 2, +3 halves. 0 times -1/2 is 0 plus 2 is 2. So 1, 2. Negative 1 times negative a half is positive a half. Add a 2, which think of like at 4 halves, that would be positive 5 halves. So 0, 5 halves is our y-intercept. Negative 8 times negative a half is positive 4, plus 2 is 6. So negative 1 comma 6. Connect the points and make it look like a cubic looking graph. Compare to the parent function. You can see it's flipped in the other direction and the point of inflection has been changed. Now you try one. Graph y equals negative 3 halves times the quantity of x plus 2 cubed minus 1. Use either method or both for the practice. Press pause to do this and then resume when you're finished to check your answer. And here's your answer in green along with the table of values.